Simon, got the job done against the York Knights to return to winning ways in the Betfred Championship. When you look back on that result, did things play out the way you wanted them to?
Yeah, definitely. I thought we played really well. We didn't get the big margin between us, which I thought was apparent in terms of performance. I thought we were miles better from minute one. But yeah, we did everything but put the points, I suppose, is the message, which is a little bit disappointing, but we got over the line a couple of times, held up, a couple of knockdowns on the final pass. So I think the scoreline would have looked a bit different, had we took those opportunities. And maybe a few more would have presented off back of it, but really happy with how we played, the style we played with, which is closer to what we want to be. So it's a good building game in the end. I think probably a few people probably won't note it as a great win, considering York had a few missing. But I thought that made them really hard to beat. I thought they were committed and they tried really hard, which I'm sure Endo were really proud of. But it also made them really big across the park with Cunningham coming in at half-back, usually a hooker these days. Then obviously young Field from Leeds there, who is back rower, really jumping out an extra man out and playing the three-man for them. So presented a few challenges. I think we probably did it for 50 minutes this week, which is an improvement, and we probably shut up shop a little bit in second half. But yeah, really happy with the general mindset and approach to the game, and I think it just ended up being a really good building game into this week.
Yeah, it was a pretty comfortable performance. 10-0 up at half time, 16-0 up with maybe 5 minutes to go. They got a try really late at the end there. Was that a bit of a disappointment that you didn't hold them to a 0?
Yeah, definitely. It was a funny one because Bob charged it down on their 20 when the smarter thing to do would have been just to let him kick it, because he's not superhuman. He's not knocking it 80 metres on the kick and putting it on your try line, but he got it in good position. So, but again, it's what I've said to you every week, Faz, that their effort's been mega, and the effort for Bob to do that after the effort he'd put in all game was massive. But yeah, just unfortunately the smarts just deserted him for a couple of minutes. I do think we should have. I do think we should have dealt with it still, but I think we probably just expected things just to shut down. But York come up with a really good play to finish the game with, and yeah, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, getting a 0 would have been nice, wouldn't it?
There was an incident, I think it was in the first half. We saw James Cunningham shoot out of the line, catch Keys with quite a dangerous looking high tackle. Saw yellow for that. Do you think it could have been red? Do you think it should have been red?
Look, subjective, depends if it's on TV. If it's not, what sort of scrutiny the ref's going to be under. He didn't miss, fortunately. He must have caught Keys in one of the tough spots on his head and he got away with it. But I'm not one for trying to dig out people and get them sent off and that, but 10 minutes in the bin, fair enough. I'm sure they'll review it and they'll make a proper decision around what it looks like. But yeah, I think they're consistent with what they're trying to do, but they're still inconsistent at times, I suppose. But they're only human, aren't they?
And another win, up to 5th in the championship. Like you say, a building game. Performances moving in the right area. So as we move into Cup weekend this weekend, that's something that you wanted to see from the team. You asked them from the team, and they performed on the field. How different is it going into a game like this weekend against Bradford, where it's winner takes all? Do you take confidence from that game into this one, or is it completely different kettle of fish in itself?
Yeah, I got asked this question today. Are you up for revenge and stuff like that? Not really interested in that, to be fair. Yeah, it stings when you lose against your rivals, right? So yeah, that provides motivation in itself. We played Monday night against Bulls, so a shorter turnaround into York, and then a shortish one for both of us this week, playing Sunday. So a few challenges in and around that, but we've played each other so recent. There'll be a lot that's the same. Their team will change. I think the squad looks different anyway. Obviously they've got some more Bradford players in as opposed to Dual Ridge players in this week, so that's a couple of different things to prep for. But again, Faz, when our form's been up and down, we are not going to waste too much time worrying about what the Bulls are doing. We're going to just try to get our game right and play our way, play with confidence, and hopefully do it for longer than 50, because as you saw in the last one, it went down to the last 5-6 minutes, I suppose, despite us having a man in the bin, and it was still there to play for. So yeah, for us, it's just a matter of throwing the kitchen sink at this one. It's Cup, obviously you lose, you're out, and we get a week off after this, so if anyone's feeling a little bit drained, they could be drained next week, can't they, and deal with it then.
And we've had some better weather leading up to this, considering the absolutely torrential thunderstorm as it was that we played in during that first Bradford game. That'll have firmed the pitches up all the way Might see a little bit of rain, but you're hopeful for a better style of rugby and a better game overall.
Listen, I thought that game were entertaining. It wasn't wide to west all the time because of that weather, but it just promotes a different style of game, doesn't it? Yeah, the field it's come up all right, to be fair. It's not quite as spongy, if you like, but we are due rain tomorrow, possibly on game day as well. Nothing massive, but a couple of showers. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about that too much, because either way it'll be the same for them as it is us, and we just have to get on with it, don't we? But definitely the firmer pitches do suit us, so hopefully it doesn't get too much of a downpour and drench it through.
We saw James Saltstall rested against the Knights on Sunday. Any injury concerns there? Any team news you can give us? Any injury reports?
Yeah, James was rested, but it wasn't just a rest. He was, Salty. I think Salty's been one of our best, if not the best, most weeks, doing his usual graft from the back for us, and he pulled his groin probably 10 minutes in at second half against Bradford, which obviously hindered his performance in that game, and then it wasn't worth pushing him to see if we could get him right for York. We'll have a look at him tonight and see if he's ready for this one. I'm sure he'll say he's ready, but we'll have to determine whether he can get through the game or not. There's a couple of lumps and bumps in between, but our 21 remains the same as it was for last week's game, which is good in terms of continuity, but we'll make a decision around what the best team is for this game tonight.
And we've seen a bit of a zip in training this week, obviously wanting to put things right. You don't want to use the word revenge, but the fact it's a big game for the fans. They've seen, the new lads have seen what kind of atmosphere they can play in a Bulls derby. Have you seen a ramp up in training as the week's gone on?
We don't train that much, so it always makes me laugh when you say that. It's like we've been building all week. We actually, hands on time, we don't have enough of it, to be fair. But no, derby weeks are always fun weeks to be around. There's always a bit of different energy, if you like. Having said that, we've been good at it for weeks because we haven't been playing that well. We've all had that little bit of eagerness to come and do well. But yeah, you're right in saying you do get the edge in these derby games, and I would make absolutely no difference to our performance if I took the field. But these are the ones where, when you're old and you've finished playing, these are the ones you look at and think, oh, I wish I were in that one. So there's a lot to look forward to with this group. As this season moves on, we're a third away in now, and hopefully we get a good performance this week and we get to press on it Cup as well.
It's Saturday night under the lights, BBC Sport cameras there. It's all set up to be a fantastic spectacle, not just for the Panthers and Bradford, but for the Championship, to represent everything that's good about the league.
Yeah, I say it all the time whenever we're on TV. You know, whether we like it being a Monday night or not is irrelevant. The opportunity to get on TV and broadcast our game is important, particularly with obviously everything that's going on around new TV deals and stuff. But it also, it gives an opportunity to broadcast Championship. It's a good league, and obviously the table shows you that this year how close it is and how all over the place most results have been. I think in the past you've been able to go down the the fixture on a Sunday and kind of pick it and be pretty much bob on. But yeah, I think now there's always at least one anomaly, which is good. It can only be good for the competition as a whole. It's not good for my health, but it's an enjoyable competition to watch, and it shows there is life outside the Super League.
And finally, we had a really good crowd for the Monday night game. This being a Saturday, the weather being better, a lot on the line for both clubs. You must be expecting a pretty big crowd to turn up at the Shay on Saturday to get behind their respective teams.
Yeah, you'd hope so. It's the world's not going to end for either team, but obviously opportunity is there to get to the next round, and you're one away from a Wembley appearance, which we probably talk about. The last one we had quite a lot, to be fair. It'd be nice to talk about a different one, wouldn't it? But yeah, look, both teams will be going all out for this one. Well, as I said before in the interview, we've got 14 days until the next game after that. I'm not sure who the Bulls play. We've got Newcastle. It's 14 days to get over this one, so it is kitchen sink. Just go for it and hopefully come out the right side.
I wasn't going to answer, but you mentioned there about getting close to Wembley. Obviously, the team that goes through to the sixth round of the Challenge Cup is guaranteed a semi-final in the 1895 Cup. Does that play on your mind at all, or is it just like you want to focus completely on the Challenge Cup because that's the more historical competition?
No, listen, much like round, I don't know what round we're on, 11 or round 25 or whatever, they don't mean a thing at present. We're just trying to do it this week, and we'll just keep doing it that way. Obviously you do have an eye on the bigger picture and that, but until it becomes more closer to the present, if you like, it doesn't matter. This one's the one that matters, and if we don't do this one, it's irrelevant looking down track anyway. So now we're just focusing on this one, focus on doing this session well, don't worry about the game.